Right now on Good Morning America, first look, the deadly shooting not far from the Florida Keys. Cuban forces saying they shot and killed 4 people on a boat registered in Florida. What we're learning about what triggered the gunfire amid growing tensions between the U.S. and Cuba.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton faces questions today in the Jeffrey Epstein case amid new fallout from the scandal. 2 prestigious academics now leaving their positions. And the Justice Department now responding to claims that documents linked to President Trump were withheld from release.
The aftermath of the historic blizzard. Emergency responders struggle to respond to this home explosion. A plow driver plows down this man with a wall of snow. And now the growing number of people dying while shoveling.
New calls for a congressman to resign over accusations he had an affair with a staff member. That staffer's husband now speaking out.
A Team USA hockey star responds to President Trump's joke about the women's team.
A baby born weighing just 1 pound finally goes home.
More cosmetic companies targeting children. Is 6 years old too young for makeup?
And a new way to call balls and strikes. The big challenge with baseball's new ball strike challenge system.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Battah. We begin with a deadly shooting off the coast of Cuba.
Cuban troops reportedly killing 4 people when a boat registered in Florida apparently entered Cuban waters. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
Overnight, new details about the shooting in the waters off Cuba that left 4 people dead on a U.S. registered boat. The Cuban government says 10 passengers on the boat, including the 6 that survived and are being detained, were Cuban residents of the United States.
Una infiltración con fines terroristas.
Cuban officials say the men were armed and were trying to carry out an infiltration for terrorist purposes. U.S. law enforcement confirms the American boat was stolen from the Florida Keys and is registered to a Miami man born in Cuba. Cuban officials say the U.S. boat violated territorial waters, approaching within 1 nautical mile of the Alpino Channel. As a Cuban border guard boat approached, the U.S. boat reportedly opened fire, wounding the Cuban commander. Cuban troops then returned fire.
We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels, if they were American citizens or permanent residents.
The New York Times reports the speedboat was trying to get relatives out of Cuba.
For decades, there's been a very lucrative business using high-speed boats to pull Cuban citizens out of Cuba and get them to Florida. That may be what we're seeing here.
This all comes amid shaky U.S.-Cuba relations. Cuba is currently facing an energy crisis because of a U.S.-imposed oil blockade.
Cubans are right now on edge because our administration is talking about their failed regime and regime change, etc. And so they have to think, well, they're armed. We have to deal with it quite forcefully.
It was almost exactly 30 years ago when Cuban fighter jets shot down 2 planes carrying Americans trying to help refugees flee Cuba. 4 were killed. Victims' families are still seeking justice.
Cuba has released the names of most of the men on the American boat, but they were not immediately confirmed by U.S. officials. Hannah, Sophie.
Andrea, thank you. A developing story from Washington. Sources say at least 6 FBI agents linked to the classified documents case at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort have been fired. The firings came after Reuters reported that the FBI had subpoenaed the phone records of FBI Director Kash Patel and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles back when they were private citizens. The FBI did not comment on the firings. The FBI Agents Association claims the firings are unlawful and put the nation at greater risk. A judge dismissed the case in 2024.
Sources say the number of calls to police about the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie has now tapered off. The number of tips surged after Guthrie's daughter, Savannah, announced a $1 million reward in the case. Sources also say the FBI is now shifting agents from Tucson back to the Bureau's office in Phoenix as they focus on analyzing evidence.
Now to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal and new details about documents allegedly withheld by the Justice Department. Meanwhile, Bill and Hillary Clinton are scheduled to be deposed starting today. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Hannah, good morning. House lawmakers are preparing to question former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton today and former President Clinton tomorrow. The Clintons have called for the full release of the Epstein files and claim they have nothing to hide.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is set to testify before House lawmakers today as part of a congressional investigation into sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It comes after a months-long standoff between the Clintons and the House Oversight Committee. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle had threatened to hold the former first couple in criminal contempt of Congress after they initially refused to testify in person.
Why did they want to pull us into this? To divert attention from President Trump.
But in the end, they agreed.
You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work.
The Clintons have long denied they knew of any criminal conduct by Epstein or his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. They say they cut ties with Epstein before his crimes came to light and have not been accused of any wrongdoing. They requested the depositions be public, but they will instead be questioned behind closed doors. Meanwhile, new fallout from the Epstein scandal. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers is now retiring from Harvard after years of emails with Epstein came to light. And Nobel laureate Richard Axel has resigned from a position at Columbia University after revelations about his ties to Epstein. Back in Washington, Democrats say the Justice Department apparently withheld documents in which they say an alleged Epstein victim made an assault allegation against President Trump, an allegation Trump has previously denied. In response, the Justice Department now says it's reviewing whether some interview reports were improperly tagged in the review process and omitted from public release.
And as for the Clintons' testimony, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee says the video of the depositions will be published as soon as possible. Sophie.
Nicole, thank you. President Trump's nominee for Surgeon General was in the hot seat on Capitol Hill ahead of a vote on her confirmation. Senators grilled Dr. Casey Means on her sometimes divisive views on everything from vaccines to autism.
All environmental factors that could be contributing to autism, we do not know as a medical community what causes autism. We should not leave any stones unturned.
Means is a wellness influencer and longtime vaccine skeptic. Her license to practice as a physician is not currently active. The committee will now decide whether to advance her nomination for a full vote in the Senate.
After the historic blizzard that dropped 40 inches of snow in parts of New England, some streets are still not plowed. Some homes are still without power. And emergency rescues, like the one at this massive fire, are anything but simple. This morning, some people in the Northeast are heading back to work and school for the first time since that record-breaking blizzard that dumped more than 3 feet of snow. In New Jersey, the roof of this ice skating rink partially collapsing. In Massachusetts, fire crews battling the elements after this home explosion.
Fire hydrants were an issue, so another reminder to people to clean their fire hydrants. We had our police officers digging out the fire hydrant when they got here.
The mother and her 2-year-old daughter were seriously injured. Authorities say it may have been a gas explosion. In Philadelphia, video shows a man getting hit by a wall of snow from a passing plow while he was shoveling.
It kind of jarred me, threw me into the car that was kind of next to me, which is right behind us. If that wasn't there, I probably would have fell down.
He believes it may not have been accidental, but decided not to file a police report. Several people have died as a result of the storm, including at least 5 on Long Island, New York, all linked to heart issues while shoveling. A shoveling-related death is also reported in Rhode Island. Yet another storm may be on the way for the Northeast early next week.
A very different kind of scene in Southwest Florida. Smoke from a 25,000-acre brush fire has closed a stretch of Interstate 75. Dry conditions are also fueling wildfires in parts of Colorado. Let's check your Thursday forecast.
Good morning. Trouble spot in the country. It's the Tennessee Valley early up to the mid-Atlantic and then down to the south. That's where it's going to be wet as we go into the day on Friday. Close call with the Northeast, but the heaviest range is north of Atlanta into, let's say, Virginia Beach this morning. Goes to I-20 with a couple thunderstorms this afternoon, and showers may get to the I-95 corridor in the north, but more storms in the south and some much-needed rainfall. Showers could skirt New Jersey this afternoon. Not very impactful. We're more concerned about a period of snow on Sunday morning that could leave a couple of inches in the Northeast. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, a Team USA hockey star responds to President Trump's joke about the women's team.
But first, the rush to rescue a man trapped and hanging by his seatbelt after this rollover crash.
And new calls for a congressman to resign over accusations he had an affair with a staff member. That staffer's husband now speaking out.
We're back with some frightening moments for this driver in Colorado who crashed and flipped over in his SUV. He was awake and talking, but trapped, hanging upside down from his seatbelt. Police body camera video shows a sheriff's deputy carefully working to free him. Paramedics eventually rushed him to the hospital.
New calls for a Texas congressman to resign over accusations he had an affair with a member of his staff. And now the staffer's husband is speaking out.
This morning, a growing number of Republicans calling for Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez to step down amid allegations he had an affair with his staffer.
I think he should do the right thing and resign.
Gonzalez, who will face voters in next week's primary, denies any allegations of an affair. But Florida Republican Anna Paulina Luna is urging him to drop out. She's considering forcing a House vote to formally censure him. Gonzalez faces an avalanche of criticism after his congressional aide, 35-year-old Regina Santos Aviles, died by suicide in September. Her widower provided ABC News with text messages appearing to show Gonzalez pursuing a relationship with her more than a year before her death. In a series of texts from May 2024, Gonzalez, a married father of 6, asks Santos Aviles for photos, requesting a, quote, sexy pic. She's hesitant at first, but Gonzalez continues to ask her about her sexual preferences, to which she replies, "This is going too far, boss." Her widower spoke with CNN last night.
This is real. This is the person that he is. He lied to everybody about it. And, I put it out there for everybody to see.
Gonzalez had this to say when pressed about the accuracy of the text messages.
I'm not going to resign. I work every day for the people of Texas.
House Speaker Mike Johnson calls the allegations alarming, but says the matter will play out in next week's primary when voters get to decide.
Gonzalez says all the facts of this case have not yet been revealed, but he didn't elaborate.
The captain of the gold medal-winning U.S. women's hockey team is now addressing a post-Olympics controversy. It all started when President Trump called to congratulate the men's hockey team after their win Sunday. Trump invited the men to his State of the Union address, then joked that he had to invite the women's team too, or else he'd be impeached. The women's hockey captain, Hillary Knight, was then asked about it on ESPN yesterday.
I thought it was sort of a distasteful joke, and unfortunately, that is overshadowing a lot of the success and, the success of just women at the Olympics carrying for Team USA and having amazing gold medal feats.
Trump says the women's team will visit the White House soon, but USA Hockey has not confirmed any plans.
Meanwhile, hockey star Jack Hughes, who scored the game-winning goal for the men's team Sunday, got a hero's welcome last night in his first game back with the New Jersey Devils. Hughes joked about the multiple teeth that he lost when he was hit during Sunday's game.
That's almost like his smile is a badge of honor for that game-winning goal.
Kind of iconic now.
Truly. Coming up, more cosmetic companies targeting children. Is 6 years old too young for makeup?
Also ahead, a baby born weighing just 1 pound finally goes home.
A third victim has now died after last week's shooting at a high school hockey game in Rhode Island. Police say the shooter's father-in-law has died from his injuries. The suspect's ex-wife and adult son were also killed. Police say the shooter was subdued by bystanders before turning the gun on himself. He reportedly had a history of mental health concerns.
A premature baby who spent 9 months in intensive care is finally home this morning, well enough to leave the hospital, and the story has a special twist. Baby Mila was treated at a hospital in New Jersey by the same doctor who treated her mom, who was also a premature baby.
My mom's eyes lit up and she's like, "That's him." And I think in that moment, seeing how happy and excited she was gave me peace of mind.
I can remember with clarity taking care of Chi, and I remember her mom like it was yesterday. And then skip ahead 30 years later, it's almost like deja vu all over again.
When Mila was born, she weighed only 1 pound, 5 ounces.
Now to an issue facing more parents these days. Young children, long before they hit their teen years, are asking to wear makeup.
This morning, the debate over how young is too young for makeup. According to the Wall Street Journal, cosmetic companies are increasingly marketing their products to children born after 2010. But it's not just young teenagers turning to makeup, it's kids, 6 years old or younger.
These kids are growing up watching Get Ready With Me videos, skincare routines, and Sephora hauls on YouTube and TikTok. And of course, they see their mothers, older siblings, influencers, and mimicry is developmentally normal at this age.
Brands such as Clean Naturals, which sells low pigment makeup aimed at children between 5 and 7 years old, says they've seen significant growth since 2024. And skincare company Ever Eden, which markets moisturizers and other skincare products for kids as young as 3, reported about $100 million in annual sales.
For some families, it really is framed as dress up, self-expression, or even bonding time. But many experts are worried about that appearance obsession, anti-aging messaging trickling down.
As for skincare routines, while manufacturers insist their products prioritize safety and wellness over anti-aging, many medical experts and parents worry early exposure to skincare regimens could foster a premature obsession with physical appearance.
Ask your kids, why do they want this makeup? What do they like about it? Is it just to be creative, or is it something deeper? Is it tied to their self-worth? And then you have to also set boundaries. Decide, if this is something that is special occasions only, or if you're going to let your child wear it daily, or if it's something that just happens during playtime at home.
Doctors say makeup is not advised for most kids because they're sensitive skin.
Coming up, Uber launches flying taxis.
Plus, a baby seal lost in the blizzard getting some help.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with calling balls and strikes, requiring some precise measurements in the big leagues.
Yeah, players' heights are being measured in spring training because of the new automated ball strike challenge system being used this season. Its strike zone is adjusted for a player's height, which is now being recorded in a strict process that limits the time of day players can be measured to account for gravity's shrinking effect on the body during the day.
The new ball strike challenge system is ruthless. One umpire was overruled on 5 straight calls. Ooh. Next, one guy who's already in midseason form.
He's a Phillies fan, and he was laser focused when a batter ripped a ball down the left field line, and he grabbed it backhanded. He didn't even spill one drop of his drink. Next, Uber say flying taxis are almost ready to pick up passengers.
The company says flying cabs powered by Joby will be ferrying passengers by year's end in Dubai. It's entering final negotiations to get certified here in the U.S.
Next, it took a 5-year-old who loves aviation to find a mistake in one airline's training manual.
William Hines noticed the layouts of 2 terrain monitors in the Southwest Airlines manual did not match. Eventually, the CEO found out and invited William on a VIP tour. Finally, the seal found on a snowy street in New Jersey.
Yeah, he was struggling and brought to an animal hospital.
The staff there says the 6-week-old pup is undernourished but is now resting comfortably. So cute. Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, the Cuban government says passengers on a Florida boat targeted by Cuban soldiers were armed and were bent on terrorism. 4 people were killed. The New York Times reports the victims were trying to get relatives out of Cuba.
Officials in Iran say they're hopeful they can reach an agreement through, quote, honorable diplomacy as nuclear talks resume today in Geneva. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says despite a massive military presence in the region, no decisions on U.S. military action have been made.
A judge has ruled it's illegal for the Department of Homeland Security to deport immigrants to third countries without notice. His ruling also says immigrants should get more time to challenge their deportation. The government has 2 weeks to appeal.
Today's weather, rain and snow showers in the northwest, and there's widespread heavy rain across the southeast where they need it because of drought conditions.
And finally, some students spreading love.
Danny New has their story.
An act of kindness at Florida's DeBerry Elementary School has won over the hearts of millions online, but it was only intended for one student.
Do you feel very close to the rest of your class?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Last Friday, Sophia here found her desk and chair covered in dozens of sticky notes, each one containing a handwritten compliment from a fellow student in Mrs. Miller's 4th grade class.
I think she's laughing. I'm laughing and crying. I'm happy.
You can hear Sophia say she's both laughing and crying before running off to hug the student who came up with this heartwarming idea, Ashton.
And what'd you say to him?
I couldn't really exactly speak at that time.
Here's why. The day before, Sophia was just having one of those days, and she went up and told Mrs. Miller she didn't feel very smart.
I've never really had a student come up to me and say that they don't feel smart, and so it just broke my heart.
So Mrs. Miller turned to Ashton after school and said, "Hey, what do you think we should do to make Sophia feel better?"
Me and Miss Miller decided that we were going to put sticky notes all over her desk with compliments on them to make her feel appreciated.
The next day, Sophia left the classroom for a little bit, and when she returned, she found notes with messages like, "You're a star, you're smart, you slay, and you're crazy awesome." But this did not just have a profound impact on Sophia. Look at all of those smiling faces behind her.
It feels like I made a difference.
And what will become of all of these little big notes of encouragement?
What are you going to do with these sticky notes?
I'm going to keep them forever.
And guys, I mentioned this has inspired a lot of people online, and Mrs. Miller told me that a couple in Texas actually reached out and said they want to buy the whole class a pizza party with soda. Well deserved, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and you rule, Danny.
Yeah, most definitely. By the way, it was National Random Acts of Kindness Week when this happened.
Good
We celebrated
timing.
unknowingly.
Yes, that's your Good Morning America first look.
Have a great day, everyone.